Welcome back, everybody, to the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise here on MLB The Show. Last episode ended in disaster as we went on one of the longest losing streaks of the entire franchise. It has been loss after loss after loss, some of them not particularly close, others pretty close, but we just could not eke out any victories. Last episode is what it felt like. It ended on a stretch of 8 games in a row where we have lost 2 series via the sweep, and now the St. Louis Cardinals are threatening a third. It will be Andrew Abbott on the mound, who is 5-1 with a 4.30 ERA versus Quinn Matthews. He's got 7 losses on his record, but has pitched through 51 innings with 50 strikeouts and an ERA of 4.21. So he has been doing better, I think, consistently than Andrew Abbott, at least as the stats would allow us to guess. So let's try to avoid the sweep here in Game 3 and continue to march forward into the end of the month of May. And it's already on the line here with Holderman. And we had several failed situations last time. I want to hop in real early on this one and see if we can do it. Tyler Soderstrom approaches the plate, and I had not really had any doubts at all about Colin Holderman going into this year. After such a strong performance last year where he won Reliever of the Year, he was not a guy on my mind that we needed to have on watch. And unfortunately, throughout the start of this season, it's been very tough. That's a good cutter that gets past Soderstrom, and that's a strikeout to begin the bottom of the 9th for us. Lars Nootbaar now for the St. Louis Cardinals is here. 1 man on and 1 out, and we don't get the call on the sinker, which Holderman takes a little bit of umbrage with. I think rightfully so. That was right there. Let's try aiming there with the cutter. Okay. A little bit of a twitch from Nootbaar, but no go. Or go inside this time with the sinker. And that's a pretty good one. It's fouled away, and Nootbaar is now 2-1. Let's do the cutter low and in. Too far inside, and it's 3-1. Go back to the cutter. Bottom of the zone, and it's fouled down the third base line. All right, full count to Nootbaar. Chance of MVP from the Cardinals fans. Runners on the move, and it's fouled away. Interesting choice there to send that runner with the full count. Still only 1 out, but they're trying to avoid the double play. Let's do a cutter, high and away. And that one's hit well. No! Nootbaar over the wall, and it's a walk-off home run. The beginning of this episode is mirroring the end of the last one, and the trend continues. We are just being pounded into the dust right now. Unbelievable. It's a 7-8 loss to complete the 3rd sweep in a row. 9 games down, one after another. And we had plenty of offense in the series against St. Louis, but their pitching was able to hold on. We scored 7 in Game 1, 5 in Game 2, and 7 again in Game 3. And it's just not been good enough. And Colin Holderman in particular is now really, really beginning to worry me. Holderman, through 24 games that he's made the appearance in, has only pitched for 21 innings, registering 13 saves, but 7 blown saves. We are nearly at a career high for blown saves, and we are not even halfway through the season, not even close. And Holderman looks to be declining incredibly quickly. We've got 17 earned runs against him, and that is nearly cresting the entirety of last year, where he pitched for almost 80 innings. Only allowing 19 earned runs, 27 runs total, but there was a lot of defensive errors that really worked against him there. Only 5 home runs, and so far for this year, we've got 3 home runs, 17 earned runs, all of them earned against him. No errors there to speak of, and through 21 innings, it has been absolutely grim. The only thing that I can think of as far as a replacement, if we pull somebody from the minor leagues, would be a guy I mentioned last episode, and that's Kirby DeVino. So far, he's a 69 overall, but I really wanted to give him more development time. If we are in more close to like a win now or let's win more type of situation or mentality, then I don't think Kirby DeVino is the right guy because he's still right now developing. Now, he's doing great. I'm really happy with where he's at. And he's a lefty arm, which I think is a very interesting one for a closer. So we got plenty of time on this kid, but we may not have as much time as I thought if Colin Holderman really tanks. Aside from calling somebody up, it could be a swap out between one of these two setup men, and it could be Dennis Santana, who's done really well through 24 innings with a 2.25 ERA, or it could be David Bednar, who is actually listed primarily as a closing pitcher. He's gotten 32 innings of play with 23 strikeouts and a 2.81 ERA. Either one of these guys right now could double their stats and still be better than Colin Holderman. So it might be time to swap these guys out, and I'm probably going to make a decision within another week of simming. If we get some more situations for Holderman and he still does not improve, then it's going to be a change one way or another. But for now, we continue to march down into the depths and approach 500 ball one more time, where that was so far in the rear view. I did not think that we were going to have anything preventing us just continuing a nice casual walk towards the end of this season, but that's not baseball, is it? It's now a home stretch versus the San Francisco Giants, and they're playing good ball so far, despite Hayden Birdsong, on the mound for him today here in the first game with a near 5 ERA. And Shane Baz has been kind of getting better so far, so I'd like to continue to see a positive trajectory for him, and we'll see if we can have Birdsong sing his swan song. That is a win, and we finally snapped the streak. It went all the way to 9 games, threatening double digits, and it took us a very long time to finally get win number 30 on the year, but it comes against the Giants in Game 1. Thank you for snapping the streak. Let's take Game 2. Zach Littell versus Kyle Harrison. This looks to be a tougher matchup. And we lose. Low-scoring game, 1-3. And that's a series split already, but at least we know we're not getting swept. And Paul Skeens versus Tarek Skubal. Skubal here on the Giants in this simulation. 74 innings, 66 strikeouts, and a 2.07 ERA. That is a scary, scary dude. And we end up shutting them out. Skubal cannot propel the Giants to win, and that means it's a series for us. The first time in nearly 2 full weeks. Unbelievable. But it's nice to get back to some winning ways here, despite the early scare with that game in St. Louis and Holderman blowing that situation. We've now taken 2 out of 3. We get an off day to recover and reset. Max Meyer can come back from injury. And it's another stretch versus St. Louis. Definitely want to avoid the sweep here. And we've got our rotation set for 2, 3, and 4, beginning with Jared Jones versus Andre Palante. And it's the bottom of the 10th. Nobody out. We are down by 1. Jared Triolo versus Andrew Nardi. I'd like to see Triolo put together a consistent string of success here. He's averaging 229, which is lower than what we're used to expecting out of him. Andrew Nardi on the mound throws a 4-seamer slider circle change. So let's see what we can do. Watch that one inside. That looked like it was going to go even further, but I'm all right with taking that. That's ball 1. Good way to start. We've got speed on second base. That's O'Neal Cruz out there. I'm not really entertaining a steal attempt as that goes to right field, and it will drop against the mesh. There we go. We'll get another shot here as it's 1-1. Triolo needs to at least advance him. Swing and a miss on the 4-seamer. That was high and inside. We were late on it. 1-2 from Nardi. Okay. Foul that one off to stay alive. Take another pitch. Timing was good. Almost early on that. We'll do it again. 1-2. And that one to first base will advance Cruz. It's a foot race, and Triolo is the slower man. Runner on third now with 1 out. Carter here 0 for 3, but he's been hit by a pitch, and to answer that, he also stole a base when he was on. He's averaging 258. It's pretty good. Like that. That's a 4-seamer that gets called for a strike inside. I don't know. That's kind of a 50-50 ball, but we took it nonetheless. 0-1. That one is also on the edge, this time outside, called for strike 2. He's proud for laying off of that, but it gets called anyways. All right, there we go. That one's easier. Can't watch anymore. We got to defend the zone. No, he gets us on the slider on the bottom part of the zone there. And the timing was too early. I didn't think it was really that far off, but last hope now. Try to tie it or walk it, and it's going to be Joey Bart. Averaging .211 with runners in scoring position. And the tying run's 90 feet away if we can get at least a single. No, I didn't mean to do that. It's blooped high into right field, but shallow, and oh, they can't get it. All right, that ends up working out. Joey Bard with a bloop to shallow right field will tie it on the 2-out RBI single. And St. Louis is going to make a change here to try to get the final out and keep this game tied. It is Luis Cervello. I think it's Cervello. Let's hear how the announcer says it. Yeah, I was right. Spot on there. Luis Cervello. All right, and Nick Gonzalez at the plate. Wow, tough day. 0 for 4 right now, but still averaging .246. And that was a good one to go after. Dead center of the zone, 90 miles an hour. Good timing, but could not do anything with it. So it's 0-1. 6-6 here in the bottom of the 10th. We watch that slider inside. That was an easy take. Let's go Bucks from the Pirates faithful out in the stands. 1-1. And that's hit well, but directly to the second baseman, and we will end the 10th tied up. I'm going to let this one go. I need to get more disciplined at taking these situations deeper into the game than I need to. And the Pirates win on a Triolo grand slam. Wow. All right, then. Nice. That's a statement victory. 11-7 to give us a 32-25 record now. At least we know they're not sweeping us. Game 2 is going to be Andrew Abbott versus Quinn Matthews. Let's make this one quick and drama-free, please. Yes, that is a 5-0 shutout. Abbott gets win number 6 to improve his record to 6-1. The ERA drops down to 4.19, and Quinn Matthews gets loss number 8. So we seal a series victory and now move on to Game 3 and threaten a sweep of our own in answer to the one last week that they delivered. Shane Baz on the mound versus Slade Ciccone, and he's not doing very well either this year. So lots of ups and downs for some of the pitchers that we've seen, but Shane Baz looking for win number 7. Let's go. Oh, that's phenomenal. That's an 8-0 shutout today. Baz does get win number 7, lowering his ERA to 4.01, and Ciccone gets loss number 6. Taking a look at the box score here, and almost everybody contributed. We had Schumann on second base today, who goes 0 for 5. That's a really tough stretch, but off the bench, he's been doing really well, because even though he got an 0 for 5 day, his average is still very high at .250. Everybody else did get a hit and contribute. 2 hits for Arise, for Peterson, and for Reynolds. Also, Sawinski going 2 for 3 with a walk. Evan Carter 3 for 3 with a walk. A perfect day for him. We had doubles from Cruz, Reynolds, and Carter, and a home run from Brian Reynolds as well. An error in the field from O'Neal Cruz. I know we really need to pay attention to that, so there's one. Shane Baz goes 6 2/3, allowing 8 hits, no earned runs, does not walk anybody, and gets 6 strikeouts. An excellent quality start for him. Clevenger with a good turnaround game, going 2 1/3, allowing 3 hits, no earned runs, walking 1 batter, and striking out 3. That's an excellent recovery game for him. Love that he picked up 7 outs today with no earned runs. And now that we've swept St. Louis, you got to figure that the momentum is shifting, and I'd love to see that for the rest of this episode. The New York Mets are here next, and they are below 500 at 28-32, despite Dylan Cease being on the mound. He has lost more than he's won for them, and maybe that's a sign of the offense too, as his ERA is under 4, so he's not having a bad year, and Zach Littell is going to go up against him for us. Bottom of the 9th with 1 out for Brian Abreu, and he's been doing really well this year. I will sim and let him go. And the Mets do overtake us to win 5-4 to begin the series. Tough loss there, as that one is pretty close, but we're going to put up Paul Skeens versus Kodai Senga for Game 2. Let's see if that matchup fares any better. It does not, as we are shut out 2-0. Dennis Santana taking the loss there. And okay, time to fight against the sweep one more time, and it will be Jared Jones at the helm against Clay Holmes. Wow. Really, really early for this type of a situation. But Jared Jones, look at this line. He has walked 9 batters, only allowed 2 hits, an earned run, struck out 6, but he has walked 9 batters. I want to get the final out here with him. I want to try to get him out of bases loaded. Wow, this is terrible. I want to make sure that we've got somebody warming up in the pen, and we are early in the game, so I'm looking at long relief. Dowry Moretta through 7 1/3. That's all that he's played so far. Ouch. He's got a 2.45 ERA, so that's fine. Majinski has picked up a lot more innings, 22 innings, and he's got a 1.64 ERA. Now, the stamina for both of them is rather low, so I know they're in the long relief slots, but they don't really have multiple inning, opportunities that often. But I'm going to warm up the both of them just in case. But we'll get back to it now with Jared Jones, and he has thrown 96 pitches. Again, walking 9 batters so far. I'm going to give him the opportunity to get out of this. We begin with a called ball inside against Christopher Morel. Let's try a circle change outside, change speeds and location, and it's called a ball as well. Jared Jones cannot catch a break here. Ticker on the bottom of the screen says that we lead the MLB with 7 top 100 prospects. Morel helps us out by going after that miss. This is pitch number 100. I'm going to try a slider going outside. It goes under the zone. Morel swings over it. Checks his bat for a hole, but that is purely his fault. Let's try the 12-6 on the outside edge. 2-2. And that is hit to Gonzalez. We'll take the throw over to first, and we've got him out of the bases-loaded jam. But Jones needs to leave this game immediately. And we leave the game and sim it, and yes, it is a Pirates win. We hang on despite the near disaster that Jones put us in. I don't think I've ever seen a start that bad as far as walks go. That was crazy. The game ends up going our way, and you would never know how bad of a situation that could have been just looking at the box, or without looking at the box score, rather. It's a 5-1 win, and I want to see who else was responsible for getting us across the finish line. We had home runs from O'Neill Cruz and Jock Peterson, doubles from Arise and Gonzalez. Arise going 2 for 4 today is really the only notable section there. Stolen bases from Cruz and Carter. Love that speed, being aggressive on the base paths. And yeah, Jared Jones. After we completed that situation to get the final out, he does get pulled from the game, rightfully so. Passed 100 pitches, walked 9 batters. I've never seen a starter in this game walk 9 batters and only allow 1 earned run and get credited with the win. That is some deep-level StatCast research you'd have to find to see anything close to this, I think. I have no idea when the last time something like this happened to a starter, but Jared Jones, it happened to him today. And he still gets the win. That's incredible. We did end up bringing in Garrett Clevenger, and he gets another stretch that's good for us. 5 outs, 2 strikeouts, nothing else active on that line. So Clevenger might have been having a gut check moment there, telling himself in the mirror that he needs to white-knuckle this thing and get back in control of his fate, and he does so, picking up hold number 11. Bednar gets the final out there to take over for Clevenger. And after allowing a hit, he does get the strikeout to get that out. Brian Abreu gets hold number 7 off of just 1 out. And Hunter Harvey comes in and picks up 5 clean outs for us and save number 2 to boot. All right, so I'm here doing the edit, and I did try to find this information, and so far it does not appear that there is a recorded instance of a pitcher going 5 innings, walking 9, and allowing 1 earned run or less. All the other instances with higher walk counts are much higher, to where it's a complete game, 11 innings, 9 innings, 8 1/3, but I can't find a recorded time that someone did it in just 5 innings. Absolutely incredible and possibly historic. So that could have been an absolute disaster, and it could have completed the sweep for the Mets, but instead, our pitching staff hangs on in an incredible turn through the midpoint of the game, and the offense gets us there. Next up is the Chicago White Sox, firmly under 500, as expected nowadays. It is Mike Soroka on the mound with a 5.33 ERA with a 1-5 record versus Andrew Abbott. The Sox are 23-41. We are 35-27. There should be no reason that we don't win at least 2 out of 3 right now. We have a good start. It is 7-2. Soroka picking up loss number 6, Abbott with win number 7. Next up is Shane Boss versus Jonathan Cannon. And similarly, 7 losses on his record through 60 innings and a 5.67 ERA. We end up losing it. It's close, 2-3 though. And that is not great. Justin Anderson for them picks up win number 2. 37 innings pitched, 25 strikeouts, and a 0.97 ERA. Who is Justin Anderson? He is their closer, 34 years old, see potential, 71 overall, still firmly rising with that overall right now. So he should be declining, and this is his first year in a year. He did not pitch in the major leagues through 2026, but they pulled him back up, and through 38 games, he has been immaculate. An under 1 ERA, only 4 earned runs against him through 37 innings pitched. Wow, what an absolutely career-defining moment for him, as it's likely this is easily his best year ever, and he will not be very good for much longer. But wow, hats off to you, Anderson. It's a series split so far against the White Sox, and the Game 3 decider will be Zach Littell and Griffin Canning. Canning, through 76 innings, has got a 1.78 ERA. Oh my goodness. The White Sox do certainly have some gems. And that's a 5-0 shutout. We will increase that ERA for Griffin Canning, and Zach Littell picks up his second win of the year, advancing his ERA to 3.36. He's turning it around really nicely, and that is a series win bounce back. Next, we continue on the road, this time going south to Miami, where Sandy Alcantara has a 5.27 ERA and 6 losses to his record, taking on our ace Paul Skeens. And that's a 6-2 win. Okay, we could be back. We've won 4 out of the last 5. Now, they are against basement teams, but I'm still okay with that. That's exactly the games that we should be winning. 2 out of 3 against bad teams, are the acceptable minimum point here. Jared Jones versus Matt Waldron coming up next, and Jones with a 4.6 ERA is doing much worse than I really expected. So I'm going to be watching him right now. Out of our entire rotation, he is the worst of the 5, according to his ERA. So I'd like to see Jones do better, especially after so many walks last time, and we had to bail him out in that final weird situation there in the middle of the game. But Jared Jones against the Miami Marlins, hopefully this one goes better for him. And that's a 3-0 shutout, so it had to have gone better. Let's take a look just to make sure. Not too much going on offensively to get excited about, but down here for the pitching, yes, much better. Jared Jones, 7 innings, only 2 hits allowed, no earned runs, and notably a single walk on the stat sheet today. So yes, he absolutely turned it around, and that's 2 starts in a row that he has only allowed 2 hits. So he's getting results. The last time was really concerning, but he goes deep into this game and really has an exact performance that he needed. So wonderful job to turn it around. Dennis Santana actually picks up win number 4, though, as he gets 2 innings pitched. And it looks like we did go into extras. Colin Holderman picks up save 15 and finally has a clean inning. That is the first time that he has been used since I said we needed to keep an eye on him. So that ERA drops under 7, and it's going to take a lot more work to make sure that that continues to go down. But that is another series. And now, Andrew Abbott versus Ricky Tiedemann to decide if we sweep. And it's the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs. Andrew Abbott in a troubling situation as the bases are loaded for Nick Fortes. Yeah, let's hop in and get the final out if we can. All right, so not quite as bad as the last weird starter situation that we had for Jared Jones, but bases loaded here as we are defending a 1-run lead. Let's try to see if we can get the bottom corner. Fortes helps us there on the foul tip. All right, let's change speeds up and do a circle change, low and outside. That one just goes outside, not really low. All right, let's change elevation then. Fastball, top of the zone. Okay, that goes to the side, and that's strike 2. Want to try a curveball, see if we can nab that edge on the outside. It goes under the zone, and Bart will assist, throw to first, and we've got another starter out of a bases-loaded jam. Yeah, we do win it. There we go. A Triolo solo shot will allow us to win, and the Pirates will walk off another one. Triolo has really been doing a lot better, and I like that in those situations we've seen the brief updates that he has been the deciding guy. It is a hard-fought battle in Game 3, but we do end up winning 7-6 to complete the sweep and get win number 40 on the year. Next up is the Cincinnati Reds, and they are just barely head above water here at 35-34, and Hunter Green for them looks to be their ace. He will be facing Shane Baz, who seeks to keep his ERA under 4 and looking for win number 8. And he might get it, but before he can establish another win, it will be up to Brian Abreu to hold this game where it is. Top of the 9th. As we face Cincinnati with a 1-run lead. Let's hop in. We haven't really shown many situations with Brian Abreu. He's just been kind of quietly successful for us. And that's a good strike on the bottom part of the zone. Let's change levels here, try to go high and in. Just goes in, Palacios in left field giving chase, and he does not have it. No, it bounces down underneath. We'll throw to the cutoff man, and that is really, really unfortunate. Wow, that's even scored as an error. They expected him to get it, and really, truly, so did I. Instead, there's 2 runners in scoring position now, and this is getting bad. Abreu misses slow and in, and I want to check to see if anyone's warming. No, we do not have anybody warming up. Colin Holderman is fatigued, so is Santana, Hunter Harvey, wow, Clevenger, and then we go to the long relief guys. All right, well, if they tie this game and we push extras or can't walk it off, whatever the situation is, I want to have somebody at least warming up. Brian Abreu has already thrown a full inning here, so he was here for the 8th and remains in the 9th, at least to begin. Let's try a slider. We'll change it up here to go low and away. Good pitch as we fool him on the timing there.
1-1.
All right, and I'm seeking something that's going to be maybe like a shallow pop. Can't go for a double play as there's nobody on first. I want to try to keep this thing elevated so we can get a non-productive out. We miss there, but so does Hines. Okay, now we can go after the strikeout. Let's try a circle change low and away. He does not go after it. Wow, look at the ticker on the bottom. Triolo hit for the cycle against the Marlins yesterday. Oh, that's amazing. All right, full count now. We got to be careful with this slider. I'm not aiming too far away. And that's a good one. We get the strikeout against Hines. Excellent job by Abreu. And it's now Noelvi Marte. Lame high and in. We get it high, but not in, and that's still strike 1 as he watches it. Okay, we miss low and inside there.
1-1.
I'll aim in the same spot, though. That's closer, but still under the zone. Really trying to get through this quickly. And he fouls that one away to even it up 2-2. All right, the slider is the primary pitch. Has looked pretty good so far. And that goes to a rise. I'm going to throw... No, I'm not. I'm going to go home first. Tying run comes in, but I don't know if we would have gotten him for sure. I had my hand over the button. I decided to run to first instead and then hit it anyways, just, for shiggles and see. But it's a tie ball game now. We've got to try to walk this thing off if we can hold it, but there's a runner 90 feet away and Cedric Mullins at the plate. We start with a circle change here. Really good one. Nothing going around, though.
1-0.
Try a fastball. Inside, swung and missed by Mullins. Let's try a fastball high. Good spot there, and Mullins scares us a little bit with a long and loud foul ball, and it's 1-2. We'll go back to the circle change, and it's foul tipped. Mullins stays alive. What about the slider? It's 1-2. We can play around with something funky. Oh, wow, that was really, really close, but we cannot get it. All right, let's try a fastball high and inside. It just goes in, really, and it's a full count. All right, fastball away. No, it's not called. Low and inside, and Mullins will take first. All right, pitcher's getting tired. Hold on a second. I was warming up Clevenger and Mlodzinski. Clevenger is a lefty. I'll take that matchup here to try to get the final out. So we'll call it for Abreu, and we will replace him with Garrett Clevenger. Oh, Acosta is a switch hitter, so joke's on me. That didn't really do much at all. All right, well, choice has been made, and we've got to live with it now, for better or for worse. We missed that cutter very narrowly on the outside edge. Let's try a four-seamer high and away. Yep, that's a good one. It goes dead center of the zone, but it's a swing and a miss. Okay, let's try to aim a sinker a little lower in the zone. And he chases after that. It goes well outside. All right, so far so good. Let's try a cutter on the high outside edge. No, that misses badly. Luckily, it's only fouled by Acosta. All right, can we dump a sweeper on the bottom edge? We sure can. He watches it for strike three. Excellent job, Clevenger. Let's see if we can sim it out and walk this thing off. Do it, boys. Nope. We're presented with 2 outs, 2 men on. Clevenger still on the mound versus Real Muto. All right, so Clevenger has been good. He's gotten outs pretty effectively. There's 2 men on, 2 outs. I will keep the matchup here, as we've used a lot of pitchers lately, and a lot of those guys are tired. We'll begin with the four-seamer, aiming high and away. It just goes away, center of the zone, but it's 97 through for strike 1. Let's try a sinker low and outside. That's a really good one. Real Muto fouls it away, but it's 0-2 now. Can we get that big sweeper to drop back in again? I need to aim a little even further outside. It came into the center of the zone last time, but it's 0-2. We've got a pitch to waste. And it's not a waste. That was a perfect pitch. Real Muto, luckily for him, is able to foul it away. Let's try the slider. Same thing, a little bit less movement. Still 0-2, though. It comes into the center of the zone, and Real Muto gets solid contact, but the timing is off. All right, let's try to tie him up. Let's go low and inside with the fastball. Yeah, we win the challenge there, and Real Muto goes down swinging. Try to sim it out one more time. Nope. Clevenger is still in the game. My goodness. Is there a way that he gets out of this, do you think? We're going to enter back in. Pitcher is getting tired, though, so maybe it's not a situation for Clevenger to resolve anymore. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Clevenger has been outstanding through multiple situations now, but I think he's done enough. We are going to bring in Carmen Mlodzinski, and he has been nearly untouchable through 22 innings so far. I'd like to continue that here and get us out of the situation and give us the opportunity to walk it off again. Mlodzinski, we're going to begin with aiming low and inside. Fastball. Perfectly placed. 96. Even Bart telling him, hey, man, that's a really good pitch to start this thing off. We'll then go to the cutter, aiming same spot. And that one goes really right where I wanted it to as well. Marte fouls it off. And let's try the slider away. 0-2. Got him swinging. Mlodzinski with 3 beautiful pitches to get the strikeout. And it's out number 2. And now we need an out any way we can get it. And Cedric Mullins is 0 for 3. Comes back around. We'll begin. I want to face or send this low and outside. Let's try it. We just go low instead, but the slider is not called. Yeah, some guys are not happy about that in the stands, too. All right, fastball then. Not called as well. It was close, but mostly outside. All right. Let's go back to that cutter then. And that one also close, but it doesn't get there. We are now down 3-0 against Mullins. And we miss inside. A 4-pitch walk to Mullins as Mlodzinski looked masterful in the first at-bat. Second at-bat goes off the rails. And his bases loaded for Victor Acosta now, the number 2 hitter. And he's 0 for 4 today. Lame fastball low and away to begin. It goes a little higher. It's elevated, but it's strike 1. Okay, what about the cutter? That one goes exactly where I wanted it to. Bart is very happy with that. All right, now let's try that circle change away. I'm going to aim a little further outside. It's 0-2. We can waste a pitch. And he does not go after it. That's all right, though. That's what you got to do in that situation. There's no reason to give him anything close at all. Let's try a fastball low and inside. He does not go after it. All right, one more pitch to try to get him to go. I'm going to aim fastball high and inside. And that one just goes high, center of the zone, and it's fouled away. All right, slider, low and away. And that one is lifted high into center field for Evan Carter, and he posts up underneath it. And yes, we will strand all 3 base runners. Good job, Majinski. How many times do we need to try to finish this game? Let's return to simming. No way, man. Bottom of the 11th, 1 out. Schumann at the plate versus A.J. Minter. This has been a really, really extended, it's not even a situation. It's felt like we've played half this game already. But runners on the corners. Schumann just needs to avoid the double play. Four-seamer, cutter, circle change. Possibly coming through from A.J. Minter. The infield is playing in. It's not going to take very much to get it past them. And that one should do it, absolutely. It goes to center field. We'll send that runner home. Schumann thinks he's walked it off, and he has on the slide. There we go. It's Jared Triolo with just enough speed to get us there. And wow, we had to get through a lot of turbulence to secure that win. But we did. Schumann walks it off on the sacrifice. That was a really, really gritty win, and you would have never known it because just looking at the highlight there, it's 3-2. Majinski picks up the win, Williamson with the loss, and that's why you try to get into those situations, to give you a little bit more flavor and context to the story of the game. That was a really, really tough battle. Cincinnati had multiple opportunities to score multiple runs. Bases loaded situations twice, and we were able to somehow scrape through and white-knuckle a victory with a 1-run lead. What a difference that made, and what excellent pitching we had. That was awesome. So the Reds are now at 500, 35-35, and after that loss, you know that they're going to be seeking revenge. Nick Lodolo on the mound will be leading the charge for them versus Zach Littell. And Holderman is brought in to finish the 8th. It's the top of the 8th with 2 outs, 2 men on. Rhys Hoskins at the plate. I wanted to enter this game because it was Colin Holderman, and it's really, really been scary lately that he's not been the guy that we needed. So I'm hoping to just get one clean out with him right now. We miss on the sinker inside. I'm going to aim sinker again, low and in. That one's a little bit better. Misses more center of the zone, but it's strike 2. And now we can try to get him with that sweeper. Yes, we do! Great job, Holderman. That's an excellent pitch, and we've got the strikeouts. We tried to sim through the rest of it, but we're already presented with Holderman again in the top of the 9th with 1 man on and nobody out. I'd really love to see Holderman turn it around. So, yeah, let's go ahead and try to close this game. It's just 1 inning, hopefully. We miss on the cutter under the zone. We go to the sinker instead. Miss that one, and no, it goes past 2 guys. We just can't get there. Cruz throws to third, but O'Hearn is not running there, and it's 2 men on now. And Holderman is now in familiar territory, familiar for behavior lately, I guess. 2 men on, nobody out, and it's Rhys Hines back at the plate. He watches strike 1, the cutter low in the zone. That's a good cutter, and it goes to center field for Cruz, and that will drop in. It's a line drive single. We throw home, and the Cruz missile does not get there in time. Holderman has given up the lead and blown the save again. They're projecting a sacrifice bunt here, so I will aim high and way outside. Yep, he misses that. Okay. Let's see if he does it again. I'll aim away on the cutter. Yep, he sure does. All right, so he's not going to go for the bunt anymore, but he's given us 2 free strikes. Let's throw that sweeper. Under the zone. And they do chance it for it, throwing to third. The tag is not in time. Both runners advance into scoring position. And it just continues to get uglier and worse for Colin Holderman. Gosh, man. Sweeper is fouled away from Marte as we can't get the strikeout yet. Holderman is getting tired and, well, to tell you the truth, I'm getting tired of Holderman not doing what I need him to do. Cutter, swung on and missed by Marte, and we've got a good strikeout. Cedric Mullins is up next. They are suggesting that we intentionally walk him. I don't think so, and that might be a mistake to bite me. We're going to find out here real quick. We begin with a sinker. Misses away, 98 miles an hour. Let's try a sinker inside then. If we can't place it out, nope, can't place it in either. Okay, we'll go back to the cutter. We get that one as Mullins has watched all 3 pitches so far. Go cutter again. We get the call on the outside edge. A little help from the umpire, and we'll go cutter up top now. Yeah! Perfect pitch, and the umpire lets him know. That is great. All right, Spencer Steer now. They are suggesting we walk him again. I'm not going to do it. I don't really care to intentionally walk very many guys, and it's definitely not going to be Mullins, but I don't think it's going to be Steer either. And that's hit to Gonzalez, a dribbler, the throw over to first, and we've got him in time. Yes, we do get out of it, only allowing the run. And that is, I guess, a consolation prize. All right, Harry Ford with a 2 RBI home run to walk this thing off, and we continue to win and scrape through. That is now 6 wins in a row as we took the series against the White Sox. We swept Miami, and that is now at least a split in this 4-game stretch versus Cincinnati. Can we get through Mitch Keller with Paul Skeens? We cannot. That is a 2-8 loss. Ouch. And that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys very much for watching. We are now tied once again with the Milwaukee Brewers at 42-29. We have turned our fortunes around and gone 8-2 in our last 10. It's been a very positive stretch, and we needed that after the disaster of a last episode that we had. We are now in the middle of the month of June, getting closer and closer to draft day and the All-Star break, and we will begin to start taking looks in the near future at some of the draft prospects that we have lined up. Thank you guys again for watching. I will see you soon for the next episode.